Right. Well, I mean, it's not a surprise that both the Indian and the Pakistani foreign ministers discuss terrorism because we have to remember that security, countering terrorism, promoting security has really been one of the core initial goals of SCO. I mean, it was founded as a grouping meant to focus on promoting better security in Eurasia. So it's not a surprise that the terrorism issue is mentioned by both of the gentlemen. But in terms of the Pakistani foreign minister's remarks, look, I think that he was responding in this case to what Jaishankar had said about the menace of terrorism, and including cross-border terrorism. And I think that Bhutto-Zardari's view is that this is not what the Indian external affairs minister is making it out to be, and that there's really not as much of a terrorism threat emanating from Pakistan. You don't have the types of cross-border infiltration into India that the Indian external affairs minister was suggesting. And basically, I think that in that case, Bhutto-Zardari was essentially suggesting that Jaishankar was trying to play up, exaggerate the threat of terrorism emanating from Pakistan and to appeal to the Indian public and to take this hard line on Pakistan. And I think also he may have been responding more broadly to this idea of looking at the Kashmir issue and the Kashmir dispute and essentially making that into a terrorism issue and nothing else. I mean, as you know, India has a very different view of violence and instability in Kashmir and what Pakistan would regard as freedom fighters and rebels fighting against Indian occupation and so on. For India, that's simply terrorism. And I think that he was also bringing attention to that this constant tendency of Indian leaders to refer to the menace of terrorism in Pakistan and not being more nuanced about it. Of course, this is really just a reflection of the problems in the India-Pakistan relationship, because the two sides are never going to agree on those issues, or at least not anytime soon. Well, I mean, just because it's been so long, as you say, I think that in of itself can be a confidence-building measure, the fact that he did go there, especially because as you'll recall, the Pakistani defense minister chose not to go to the defense minister's SCO meeting some days back. He participated virtually, but not in person. And, there have been other SCO meetings this year under India's presidency where Pakistanis have participated, but mostly virtually, and certainly nothing on the lines of an official as senior as the foreign minister going over. So, yeah, I mean, just the fact that he went, that in of itself can be a confidence-building measure. And obviously the images of him in India, and also, all of the Pakistani journalists that went to India to cover his visit, that certainly is a good thing for the relationship. But no, I do not think that this visit is going to move the needle forward toward reconciliation. I quite frankly don't think either side has any interest in using this visit to try to move the needle forward on reconciliation. And especially if you look at what's just happened in the last few weeks. There's a recent attack in India-administered Kashmir that the Indians blamed on Pakistan. And you look at the war of words and the nasty things that Bhutto-Zardari had said about Modi. And at the end of the day, I think that politically it would be not a very good idea for either side to extend an olive branch to the other. And especially if you look at the situation in India, they've got an election coming up in another year. I think that the BJP would calculate that it would be a big political mistake to extend an olive branch to a government in Pakistan that is very weak and unpopular and is scheduled to have elections in just a few months. So for all those reasons, as many others, including the Pakistani Foreign Office, have been saying, we shouldn't be looking at his visit to India as a bilateral matter. It's really more through the lens of multilateralism. He went there to participate in a meeting of a grouping that I would argue is very helpful for Pakistan's interests, and it's one of the rare regional groupings where Pakistan could actually be received well, and by most members at least, and enjoy some advantages, especially because China, Pakistan's close ally, is really the dominant member within the SCO.